Ooh. Now that's a visual.
Do you trust?
Oh, we have to talk to Rathian to start it. Hold on. Always come prepared. Always be, like, never be the guy who shows up to a party you've been invited to without something. Like, always bring something if you get invited to a party or someone's house or something. It's just the nice, courteous thing to do. That's why it's like, okay, we're going into a raid. I brought a feast for everybody. Nom nom nom. Okay. Got some health stones from our warlocks here. Let's see. So I've got my... So I'm well fed. And I don't have a cauldron. No. I don't think anyone's got a cauldron. So I'll just go ahead and... There we go. I have a feeling when we talk to Rathian, it's gonna, you know, start the cutscene, so. If it plays cutscene, gonna watch it. Just a heads up. I don't want them to be like, why aren't you skipping the cutscene?
To use the chamber's weapons against Ny'alotha, we need to get inside his husk. Leave this part to me. After all, dramatic entrances are my specialty.
Sure, Rathian, sure. Slow motion. Well, that's a pretty looking one.
Insolent whelpling! You desecrate that which you were bred to serve!
Angry, are we? And after I tried so hard to impress you with my dagger handiwork.
So smarmy. Oh my gosh! Wow! We all died so fast. Oh man. Wow. Yeah, there was no way I could have handled that. We just died. That's what happened. We all just instantly died. Corrupted touch. When removed, inflicts shadow damage to enemies within. Oh my gosh! Look at that! That is crazy! Oh, I can't mount in here? Are you serious? Oh, man.
I need to get closer.
If you get blue, stay away from people. Don't you just love trash that just wipes out everybody? 'Cause I sure do. Oh, man. This is just the trash. We haven't even gotten to this boss yet. And everybody's blue, it seems. Oh, man. So, yeah, based on what I was reading upon this is where having our cloaks up with the sandy resistance is really gonna help. That is, it's labeled the Fury of Ny'alotha, but this is basically the carapace of Ny'alotha. At the center of Ny'alotha stands a dread mountain of flesh, teeming with eyes and tendrils of unfettered corruption. Madness itself seeps from the writhing mass, eroding the sanity of all who approach it. This is the heart of the Black Empire, Ny'alotha's seat of power, the body of a god. And yeah, sanity is gonna become a thing in this encounter and the next one, but we'll get to that. Well, this should be interesting. This guy is offline. Boy, I really wish I could mount right now, because so that way we could be able to kind of repair up after those deaths that we just had. But here we go. Here's our first pull.
5, 4, 3, 2,
1.
Let madness consume you.
So yeah, we get a separate cooldown on our cloak in this fight.
3, 2,
Weapons
1.
fail you.
Adaptive membrane.
So yeah, Rathian's presence empowers players to utilize their Shroud. When activated, it heals a player for 100%, protects the player from sanity loss, and returns them to Rathian's side.
Watch your step.
This will be interesting to see how it works. Oh gosh, oh gosh. Stay away from me, stay away from me! Ah!
Champion, guard your sanity.
There we go. It's a 2-minute cooldown, so I have a feeling some of us are probably going to have to use it when we can.
Your weapons fail.
Oh gosh, people are already dying. Oh, look at this. It blocks it so I can't be able to actually see them and make casts on them. This is going to be a very interesting sequence for us to do here. Oh, man. Look at all the trash that's here, too. Look at all this trash. I'm not in range of them. The other healers are going to have to help me out with that.
Weapons fail you.
Adaptive membrane.
Sanity's forfeit.
Oh my gosh.
Watch your step. Tentacle.
So it's, I don't know who that other, I can't tell. It doesn't say what their class is. At least I don't see what their class is.
1.
Adaptive membrane.
Holy mackerel. Can I stun them? Yes, I can. Alright, so I probably should have waited for my big coolies for like this sequence here, because this seems like a really bad sequence.
3.
Really tough sequence here, with all the ads that are here.
Membrane.
Holy mackerel.
Guard your sanity.
That is so much raid-wide damage. Look at that. Look at how many died.
Let madness
Yeah,
consume.
just wipe.
Watch your step. Tentacle.
Too many of us died. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, wipe it. Wipe it. Come on, wipe it.
2, 1.
Don't keep fighting. Just wipe.
Adaptive membrane.
You gotta know when to be like, okay, let's just try again. Let's start over. Over here, and just gonna let, I think I hit the mic this time, sorry. Hey, ads. Kill me. This is gonna be interesting. I used that one feast early on, but I'd rather save those for my other groups when we attempt this on heroic later, because we'll probably need them. Hopefully someone has a repair bot. I wonder, can we teleport out to repair and then teleport back in? Huh. Huh. I'm gonna test this out. Let's test this out, shall we?
Something has spooked one of the Brutusos, sending it into a panic.
I have many
Air.
tattoos. You like?
And then back in. Brilliant! Hopefully everyone knows how to do that. And they don't just leave. Because that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying leave the group. I'm saying go here and click on teleport out of dungeon. And then use the same thing to come back in. So, let's go over this a bit more here. Alright, so rallies his physical defenses, retreating deeper into his carapace at 50% and 40% health. Player's sanity balances tenuously throughout the encounter. Rathian allows players to utilize the Shroud to recover from Rathian's Anchor of Sanity, which is channels a field of willpower periodically, restoring the sanity of players within 5 yards, which is what he channels here. Losing all sanity grants Gift of Ny'alotha, then transforms a player into a Servant of Ny'alotha. Players lose access to Rathian's aid in the final stage. So yeah, we basically become mind-controlled at that point, and we start casting Mental Decay. So as a healer, move away from your allies when they are afflicted with the Madness Bomb and Insanity Bomb. Eternal Darkness and Infinite Darkness inflict sanity loss and high raid-wide damage, and upon losing all sanity, a player becomes a Servant of Ny'alotha, which severs the target's connection to sanity, increasing their health by 100%, charming them permanently, and causing them to do Ny'alotha's bidding, casting Mental Decay. Use the shroud during stage 1 and stage 2 to recover sanity. Shadow, and don't be under it, then kill the red things on it. The less of those that there are, the less raid-wide damage that we get when it goes back up. Okay. Kill the boss, kill the ads on the tentacle, all run left in phase 2, use the cloak, then right, jump in middle, and then just watch out for more tentacle slams in phase 3. Rips a hole in the fabric of reality, draining 10 sanity and inflicting 55,000 shadow damage to all enemies. Rips a hole in the fabric of reality, draining 10 sanity, inflicting 111,000 shadow damage to all enemies. This hole creates an infinite void for 40 seconds. So, let's see. Servant of Zoth, obviously deadly. Mental Decay deteriorates targeted players' minds, immediately draining sanity and additional inflicting 9,000 shadow damage every second for 12 seconds. Right in tunnel if you want to go left. Nah, just focus one side. It's easier for the LFRs. I love it when there's always somebody who's talking in the chat in an LFR group, like as if they're someone who's a mythic raider. And I'm like, if you're a mythic, if you're such a high-level raider, then why are you here in LFR? Why are you here? Instead of doing heroic or mythic runs, It's just funny, like, they're talking down to the rest of the group, like, oh, these are LFR people. You're in LFR too. You're one of the, you're one of that group you're talking about as well. So don't be talking down to the group you're part of when you yourself are in the LFR.
Five, four, three, two, one. Sanity's forfeit.
Three,
Your weapons fail you.
Adaptive membrane.
Why are you way back there? There are times I'm like, I can't heal everybody. I gotta remind myself of that. That's kind of the mentality that you expect when you're in a dungeon, but when you're in a raid, that's not the case.
Watch your step. Tentacle.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Adaptive membrane.
Unyielding. Sanity's forfeit.
I think we're doing much better this time. We are already having him down to 73% already.
Membrane.
Unyield. Let madness consume you.
I've been seeing more and more Blood Death Knights lately. It's no wonder when I was first hearing about, they were talking about which class and specs would excel in this patch, that guys like Preach were like, oh yeah, it's definitely going to be Blood Death Knights. They will definitely be like one of the top specs in this patch.
Adaptive membrane.
3, 2.
If you're wondering why I haven't popped Bloodlust yet, it's partly because I noticed I am not... There's a few mages in this group. I don't need to pop Lust.
Will be thwarted. My strength is unending.
N'alotha is restoring his flesh, champions. Do not relent.
3, 2,
Your
1.
weapons fail.
Adaptive membrane.
Void approaches. Sanity's forfeit.
It looks like everyone's still alive. Whoa!
3, 2,
Your weapons
1.
fail you.
Adaptive membrane.
Void approaches. Sanity's forfeit.
2, 1.
Adaptive membrane.
Can I cure them of that? Like, dispel them? I can't tell. Oh, gosh.
Champion, guard your sanity.
Ah.
3,
Quick way to get back and then go back over here to do the other side. Gotcha.
Void approaches. Sanity's forfeit.
Hold nothing back, or I will not.
Oh gosh, they will eventually regrow. So we can't just stop, we have to keep moving.
2, 1.
Adaptive membrane.
Your weapons fail. Whew. This is a rough spot, it seems.
Sanity's forfeit.
2, 1.
Adaptive membrane.
Void approaches.
Now we jump down to mid.
Short wave blast.
Within my gaze. Let madness consume you.
3, 2, 1.
Impervious, unyielding. Void approaches.
Oh gosh. Well, we have all that blocking our path.
Sanity's forfeit.
So this is going to be a little rough.
Within my
Oh gosh.
gaze. Void approaches.
3, 2,
Weapons
1.
fail you.
Adaptive.
The big totem.
Let madness consume you. Void approaches.
Champion, guard your sanity. Champions, N'alotha is luring us into the core of his mind.
Master.
I dare not enter that foul place, lest I lose myself to his madness. Strike him down.
Phase 3.
Well, it's gone now. So for the rest of this fight, we can't use Rathian. Ooh, and this is where we're gonna fight the last boss. Very nice.
Mania devours you.
Oh gosh. I'm running away. I'm running away. No, don't run with me. Ah!
3, 2,
Weapons failed.
Oh gosh.
Flashing tentacle.
Whoa, I am getting lag. Oh my gosh. Lag. Lag, 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 lag. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh.
Watch your step.
3, 2, 1.
Adaptive membrane.
Excuse me.
Watch your step. Tentacle.
Yay!
Is eternal.
Huh.
Every war waged, every trial overcome, led you here to me.
This is it. Big man himself. Ny'alotha the Corruptor.
Real. Complete the circle. Open the way.
Huh. I guess someone got their echo morality.
For an old god who claims to see everything, you are blind to the threat before you.
Huh. Oh, we can mount in here.
I have many, many wares.
Whee! Prepare up. From his Titan-forged prison deep beneath the waves, N'alotha or Unzoth spent eons subtly spreading his influence across Azeroth. Now, free from captivity, the Corruptor reveals his true form as he enacts his ultimate plan to make his vision of the Black Empire our new reality. If he has not stopped, all that we have ever known will be remade into the image of his eternal madness.
Breathing anguish. Synaptic shock. Synaptic shock. Synaptic shock. Breathing anguish. Synaptic shock. Synaptic shock.
Where's my Heart of Azeroth prompt?
Synaptic shock. Interrupt flow. Creeping anguish. Foreshadowing.
Betrayers, abandon your
Watch your
existence.
Okay. Whew. Oh my gosh. Why are so many dead? How did so many die? Oh, did they lose their sanity and became servants of N'alotha?
Interrupt.
Is that what happened? Oh gosh, I'm horrified. Did he drag me there? Oh, N'alotha, that's cheap, man. That is a cheap move.
Corrupted mind. Eternal torment. Corrupted mind.
Interrupt
Corrupted
3.
mind. Corrupted mind.
So yeah, I've heard numerous things about this
Corrupted
encounter.
mind. Corrupted mind.
Interrupt.
Corrupted mind.
I wonder how many pulls it's gonna take for us to do this. I don't think we're gonna do this. Too many people died. Or rather, they chose to serve N'alotha.
One!
Corrupted mind. Mind gate.
And behold
Corrupted
the
mind.
greatest of truths.
Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind.
Interrupt.
Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind.
Huh.
I claim this flesh.
Corrupted mind.
2, 1!
Cataclysmic
Yikes.
flames. Tumultuous burst. Corrupted mind.
So what was it? It
Shock.
was... I had Pain Spike, Eternal Torment, Mental Decay, Ancient Flame.
Tumultuous burst.
Oh, because then he gets... They use their controls.
4, 3,
Tumultuous
2,
burst.
1!
Tumultuous burst. Cataclysmic flames. Creeping eternal tumultuous burst.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't put that on the healers. They died instantly. There's nothing healers can do like that when the raid, like half the raid just instantly dies. Nothing can be done about that.
Tumultuous burst. Shock. Tumultuous burst.
That's not on the healers.
Cataclysmic
I like how you can see our consciousness, consciousness just kind of floating there.
I have many lucky do's. You like?
Alright. Position carefully within the arena to ensure that Mind Grasp does not pull you into the Veil. Leave room for pairs of your allies with Paranoia to reach one another safely. Paranoia. N'alotha selects pairs of players and fills their minds with all-consuming paranoia for 15 seconds. Paranoid players must be within 5 yards of their paired partner or suffer 9,000 shadow damage every second. This damage increases over the duration of paranoia. Affected players do not trust their allies while paranoid. Coming within 5 yards of an unpaired ally causes the player with paranoia to be drained of 5 sanity every second while they remain near their ally. Dispel Corrupted Mind before it expires to preserve your ally's sanity. So, I now have to be watching out for my teammates that have this. So, I have Purify Spirit, that's, Wind Shears for interrupting, and Purge. Huh. Now, now this purges an enemy target, okay. Purify, which is on an 8-second cooldown. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing that I think some people didn't realize, that they had to go find their bodies and click it in order to actually get their Azeroth's Radiance thing to come back. So that took me a while to realize. I was like, where'd it go? Why don't I have it? Oh, that's why. So yeah. So yeah, we gotta do that, and then you can see that's when N'alotha was stunned, and that's when we have to attack him. So yeah, I've heard a lot of different things about this fight from people. And of course, keep in mind, this is just the LFR version of the fight. I've heard things about the higher difficulty versions of this fight, so... Now, for the record, I wanted you guys to know, I have held off joining, you know, groups that were at this guy in order to try and show you guys my, you know, the whole thing, every encounter. Basically on my first go. So I have yet, you can see I still have the quest to actually kill Ny'alotha right here. I still have the quest, meaning that this guy still has not had, you know, beaten this boss yet. I have held off. This is my very first encounter in this fight. And I'm okay with that because it's the LFR version. It's supposed to be the easiest possible version that there is in the game. Compared to the normal and heroic versions. Now, some people had told me the heroic version is still easy, quote unquote. You know, to them it's probably easy. Obviously, I'm very much wanting to be a part of beating Ny'alotha here on heroic because, of course, it's gonna get the mount that looks like Vexiona. So that's something I'll be trying to see if I can do off camera. And I have until the pre-patch for Shadowlands, which I honestly don't know when that's actually going to be happening. If they are really going to be releasing it that soon, it seems a little early to me. I just have some kind of hunch that maybe they're going to not try and rush it out too soon. But then again, maybe they just may cave into other players, like going, "Oh, we need more content." You know, they don't want content droughts. They always demand more content, no content droughts, and then we complain. And then they complain that they pushed it out too early, you know. I've heard plenty of people say that, you know, Blizzard just needs to stop listening to players. And I kind of have started to really agree with that viewpoint. That, you know what, they really do need to stop listening to players because they listen to the people who whine and complain far too much. And it's a real shame. So I'm going to need to start looking into, especially if I want to do this as a healer, I'm going to need to start looking into, maybe I think I've heard Healbot is possibly a good add-on. I don't know. I'm going to have to basically look into add-ons that, what are good add-ons for healers to see when someone has something that needs to be dispelled. Because that's something that I do need to work at getting better at. When it comes to being a healer, I'm sure you guys just kind of that drowned me out there. That's what I said. Okay.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Your minds remain closed. Come, mortals. Glimpse the infinite truths. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Synaptic shock.
Whoa.
Shadow.
Breathing anguish. Synaptic shock.
Okay, where is my body? Where is my consciousness? It's floating away.
Watch your feet.
I see. We have to beat this guy first. Then we can get our consciousness back to use our Azurite. Gotcha.
Interrupt
Mind
5.
Synaptic shock.
Nope. No thank you. No thank you.
Synaptic shock.
Stop it, Ny'alotha. Stop it. Ah! My bad. My bad. Losing my sanity. Ah. Alright, got my sanity back. Let's go. I guess some people didn't click their floating body fast enough.
Special
Mind
coming.
grasp.
Oh gosh, oh gosh. Wait, where am I supposed to go to avoid getting,
Watch your feet. Only incoming.
Corrupted mind. Eternal torment. Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Mind gate.
that really doesn't help in this fight, does it? That's a shame. Oh gosh.
Corrupted mind.
Only incoming.
Wait, are we all supposed to go in there now?
Eternal torment. Corrupted mind.
Oh.
Stuck. Interrupt.
Corrupted mind.
Interrupt.
Corrupted mind.
Interrupt.
Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind.
Interrupt.
Corrupted mind. Synaptic shock.
Only incoming.
Corrupted
Interrupt.
mind. Eternal torment.
Interrupt.
Corrupted mind.
Interrupt.
Corrupted mind. Synaptic shock.
Man.
Corrupted mind.
Only incoming.
Corrupted mind. Eternal torment. Synaptic shock. Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind.
Stuck.
Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind. Synaptic shock. Corrupted mind.
Only incoming.
Corrupted mind. Eternal torment.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh.
Eternal synaptic shock. Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind.
Oh my gosh.
Tumultuous burst. Corrupted mind. Tumultuous.
That is insane.
Tumultuous burst.
Within the sleeping city, you will slumber forevermore.
Wow.
Many deals for a friend of the Grummels, like you.
Alright, abilities. Let's see. Well, we actually got another tank to join, so... Yes, we get it. That doesn't help. That doesn't answer the question that they were asking. How to counter that mechanic. Especially if we need to identify what that mechanic was. I am going to drop another one of these. So now I have increased intellect by 131. So for those of you who don't know what a feast is or what it does, you set out a feast to feed up to 35 people in your raid or party. It restores, 200,000 health and 105,000 mana for 20 seconds. Must remain sea while eating. If you spend at least 10 seconds eating, you will then become well fed and gain 131 in a stat for 1 hour, or until you die. So, and these are not easy to come by. So apparently there was another part that people were going to, a separate one in a portal, that I didn't go through because I wasn't sure how many need to stay behind and how many need to go. Especially in our first attempt where people, they asked, did all the healers go through the portal? And clearly I didn't. So I wasn't really sure what exactly happened there when it came to what the other healers were doing. I can't really pay attention to what the other healers are doing because I have to focus on making sure that not only the tanks are staying okay, but that there are other DPS that need to be healed as well. Yeah, I've heard, one of the things I've heard about about this, that Preach was saying in his video when he talked about the mythic version of this fight, he basically relates this to Muuru back in Sunwell in Burning Crusade. It's a fight that was considered extremely difficult, but that didn't necessarily mean it was good. Preach hated Muuru, because he hated that it was so hyped up, and they talked about it like it was so tough and so difficult, almost in a good way, when in fact it wasn't. What he hated, Preach is a big mechanics guy. He hated that Muuru would basically just float there and just summon ads and trash. That didn't make it an interesting or good or well-designed fight. That just made it a tough or difficult fight. And that's kind of what he compares us to. He and others don't consider this a good or well-designed boss fight. It's just what he considers it boring. He considers it kind of tedious and not very well-designed. It's tough. He basically described the mythic version of this fight as you have to do everything perfect or it's a failure. Everything. Like, he talked about how he and his mythic, raid buddies, his dedicated mythic raiding group, they had to spend time practicing very certain things about this fight in order to prep for the world race first for it. So the world first race, excuse me. But yeah, this is what he apparently really looks like underneath all that whole carapace and everything. This is him. We always, wondered for a very long time, what was Ny'alotha going to end up looking like? I mean, yeah, he's got the eyes, but, Now, keep in mind, this is apparently the first time we've seen an old god basically in their true form, though, if that's the case, then what was the deal with, Yogg Saron here? Was this not his true form? Because it kind of certainly seemed like it to me. And of course, because of the eyes, we all thought, well, they must be doing something different because the one with the eyes, well, that was, of course, our good old buddy Cthulhu. I mean, that's basically all he was. Except for that other phase after he tried to eat you and then he spit you out. But, yeah. I will say this, Cthulhu's voice was very quiet. You will die. Very, very soft, very quiet. While, Yogg Saron was like, you know, like after, you know, the build-up for Ulduar, of course, was him with the whispers. But then once we actually encountered him, it's like, you know, bow before the, look upon the true face of death, you know, which I loved. Yasharaj, that was some interest. That was kind of, you know, kind of a, definitely more of a whisper, because at that point, he, you know, how alive was he still at that point? And then, of course, now we have N'Zoth. Very deep and booming. Very, you know, I really like this type of voice. I will say that. I really like N'Zoth's voice. Before you walked this land, I ruled. He just couldn't stand. He just couldn't accept that his empire was gone. I really liked that Warbringer's Azara bit. At least they allow you to mount up in here in case you need to repair it and such. They probably figured people were going to need to do that, so. Right. So. So let's see. I've done the Rathian fight now several times because I kept trying to get his trinket. On Tuesday, so for those you don't know, I guess you wouldn't because this is basically the first time I'm telling anyone this on camera. I had a friend who brought me along with her buddies on a Mythic Key run. It was a 10. And we didn't beat it in time. It was kind of a disaster. We had an issue where I actually got stuck on one of, you know, inside one of the ramps, so I had to do the character stuck thing, which sent me outside the instance back to Dazara Lore, and so I had to get back. This was in Mechagon, by the way, the workshop inside. We also had a thing with our healing paladin that got, well, had some issues trying to get around, or, you know. Anyways, it was a disaster. We died a lot. We had to leave and repair, and, you know, we also had some issues with the trash and such, so, but we did finish it. So because we finished it, this was made into a level 10 chest. So from that, I got this. A 465 trinket, Midas Talisman, which has, it doesn't, you know, I don't have the ability here because it's not really meant for resto. It's definitely meant for enhancement, which, you know, adds damage to my auto attacks on a 1.5 minute cooldown. But I had a 415 trinket here, so I replaced that with a 465. So, you know, I'm up to 459 when I'm enhancement. I'm up to only 457 on resto because I only have a 425 shield. So that's something I need to get for resto, is a better shield if I want to get my eye level as resto up higher than, you know, or on par with enhancement. So okay, so I basically need to stick, so I'll stick with the Paladin tank. So I guess that's going to involve the part I was talking about that I didn't do before, which was going through that portal for the Psychus side, I guess, which I didn't see. So that'll be interesting for me to try and see and figure out. I wonder why that guy didn't ready check. So
5, 4, 3, 2.
Gotta keep my eyes on this Paladin tank.
Your minds remain closed. Come, mortals. Glimpse the infinite. 4, 3, 2.
Interact wrap.
Synaptic shock. Treatment anguish.
Interrupt T.
Watch your finish. Synaptic shock.
Interrupt
Mind
3.
Synaptic shock. Synaptic shock. Synaptic shock. Breathing anguish. Synaptic shock.
Phase
Shadow
2.
needle.
Alright, quickly get back to our bodies.
Special
Mind
planning.
grasp.
Watch your fish. Watch your fish.
Ah!
Watch your fish. Only incoming.
Corrupted mind. Eternal torment. Corrupted mind. Tumultuous burst. Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind. Tumultuous burst.
Stack.
Oh gosh, where's my partner? Stop running away from me.
Corrupted mind.
4, 3, 2,
Corrupted mind. Mind gate. Corrupted mind.
walk the path to power. With a whisper, the earth warrior bends to my will. Who are you? 4, 3, 2, 1.
Corrupted mind. Creeping anguish.
Cataclysm is upon you. The 4, 3, to the light of Deathwing.
Cataclysmic flame.
Make your peace, mortals. You will heed the call of the corruptor.
Wait, I thought the paladin tank was coming up here to do the portal.
Mind wrath. Corrupted
And yet he made it sound... He made it sound... The Blood Knight tank made it sound as if the paladin tank was going to do this. And yet the other one is here. I guess they just need someone to help do this phase. And I am on the verge of dying.
Synaptic shock.
I claim this flesh.
Interrupt 3.
Corrupted mind. Shadow
Beware.
needle.
You know not
Eternal torment.
be consumed by fire.
Oh gosh, gotta get my sanity back. Woo! Okay, okay.
Four, 3, 2.
Oh my gosh.
Corrupted mind.
Spectrum. Interrupt.
Corrupted mind.
I
Corrupted
claim
mind. Corrupted mind. Corrupted.
Wow.
Tumultuous burst. Eternal torment.
within the sleeping city, you will slumber forevermore.
I have many lucky doos. You like?
gosh, so many people are leaving. So, how many of you remember long ago in this playthrough when I did a video on the Antorus the Burning Throne raid from Legion? Do you remember me telling you or informing you guys about how long that video originally was before I cut it down? That video was 3 hours long. That's how long it took for us to get through that entire raid. Partly because I was having to try and constantly corral people in. I wasn't using LFR. We were just doing a normal run, but I couldn't get people to join. I think part of the problem is that it's not that they're not using the neck. It's that they are not getting back to their bodies in time in order to be able to get that prompt back. I think that's part of the problem.
I have many, many wares.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Your minds remain closed. Come, mortals. Glimpse the infinite truths. 4, 3, 2, 1. Gaze deep into shadow.
Creeping anguish. Synaptic shock.
No one else is using their interrupts. I was...
Synaptic shock. Synaptic shock.
Interrupt one.
Synaptic shock. Breathing anguish. Synaptic shock. Synaptic shock.
Okay, our bodies are over here, so let's... I like that it's called Shattered Ego. That's funny.
Stare into the void.
Look at all the minions and pets we have. Someone... Oh. He must have soul stoned himself.
Special
grass.
Oh boy. What the?
Watch your fish. Watch your fish. Watch your...
Oh my gosh. I thought it was going to be from the other side. Well, I guess that was my mistake.
Only incoming.
I thought it was going to be from the other side.
Torment. Corrupted mind. Tumultuous corrupted mind. Corrupted mind.
Holy mackerel.
First.
Gosh, why is that cast so long? I hate that.
3, 2, 1.
Mind
I
gate.
hate these incredibly long casts I have.
Walk the path to power.
Alright, so use that, then go into the portal. So that you can have as much sanity as you can before going in.
4, 3,
Interrupt
2,
one.
1.
Corrupted mind. Breathing anguish.
4,
Eternal shock. Into drag. Corrupted mind. Cataclysmic effect.
Deathwing?
You will heed the call of the corruptor.
Synaptic shock.
Wait, is he just simply using Deathwing's voice lines against us?
Corrupted mind. Cataclysmic effect.
I'm like, I know that voice.
Watch your fish.
Beware.
Betrayers, abandon your resistance. Be consumed by fire!
Mind. Interrupt. Corrupted mind. First. Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind.
Oh my gosh, so many people dying.
Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind.
Ah!
Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind. Corrupted first. Corrupted mind.
Gosh,
Corrupted mind.
I just love it when I'm trying to see if I can heal somebody and they just run way out of range.
Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind. Tumultuous first. Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind. Tumultuous first. Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind.
2, 1.
Corrupted mind. Tumultuous first. Corrupted mind. Tumultuous corrupted mind.
1.
Corrupted mind.
It's a wipe.
Tumultuous burst.
I wasted my reincarnation there.
I claim this flesh.
Tumultuous burst. Corrupted mind. Eternal torment. Tumultuous burst.
Within the sleeping city, you will slumber forever.
Many deals for a friend of the Grummles, like you. Many farewells.
Yeah. Yep. That paladin tank took off. It was like, nope. You know what's funny is I've heard people say the heroic version of this fight is easy. I guess they must have really, spent their time working and preparing and practicing for this fight because, yeah. But then again, I guess this also comes into the whole, what people say about LFR in general, right? There is so much to this fight when it comes to mechanics. Also, have you guys been noticing? I don't know if you have or not, but man, in this fight, I have been noticing some lag when stuff gets underway. And Preach even made a video about that, about the amount of RNG that's going on through the entire raid group and, conflicting with stuff in the game, and that just causes a lot of lag, no matter how strong your PC is. That because of all the RNG that has been put into the game, including in our gear, that it's been causing a lot of technical issues and lag. And I've been noticing this ever since 8.3 launched. I've had more technical issues with WoW since 8.3 launched than I have had in the many months I've been playing before that. so many different abilities and mechanics in this fight that you have to pay attention to, otherwise it's a wipe. So much. Look at this. It's no wonder maybe people just don't bother. They don't want to. They're like, I don't want to read. I don't want to read about all this stuff. Corruption of Deathwing. A vision of the shattering of the world pillar and the fearsome power of Deathwing. So that's why we're hearing Deathwing's voice. Because we're seeing a vision, which I'm not noticing. It won't be something I'll be able to look at until later on when we can actually come back here, you know, and do it as older stuff. And you don't even get to, like, attack his core self to do his health that much in this fight. Because you have to do so many other things in order to even get a shot at doing it. See, the thing is, I'm using this, but I'm not entirely sure. I mean, I think it's supposed to. Yeah, it says dispel any effects of N'alotha's corruption and become immune to any further corruption effects for 6 seconds. And reduces sanity loss, but it says within a vision of N'alotha. So that sanity loss, I don't think applies here in this fight. So before I got queued up for this, by the way, I was actually doing the visions in or not the visions, the assaults in both Old Doom and the Veil, because I was working to get more coalescing visions so I could do more, because as you can see, I got my cloak up to rank 9, and now I have a quest to get 6 more pages in the vision of N'alotha for the cape to get it up to level 10. So yeah, I was basically working on collecting more visions to get more vessels, so I could do more to upgrade the cloak, because I've heard that you need to have your cloak up a decent level in order to be able to handle this on higher difficulties. I know some, even the Perky Pugs group, which I'm looking to see if they can actually help me be a part of a heroic run in this, so I can get that mount, is requiring that you have your cloak to at least rank 10. Now, that is actually being labeled as a learning run, which I am totally in favor of. I love that. I love it when groups of people are like, let's get a group together and do this just to learn. Just, we're not doing this to burst on through and, get all that. We're here to help people learn the fights, learn the mechanics, get it down, because the more people you help learn and teach these fights and mechanics, the more it can spread, and more that those people can be able to help teach other people about it, and so on and so forth, to the point where more and more people can get more familiar with these fights and mechanics. So don't stand. It's always humorous seeing what some people write in chat when they're trying to tell people what to do in these fights, when they're not exactly entirely great about doing it. By the way, yes, this does drop a mount on Mythic difficulty. Also, if we beat this, he can actually drop a pet. The Eye of Corruption. Yes. But this is all he basically drops in LFR. On Mythic, he drops another mount. The Ny'alotha All-Seer. Yes, ew. Ew is what I say. Let me say this. This is not a mount I'm gonna be all that eager to come back and farm to get. That's not the mount I want. That's the mount I want. And I only have to do it on Heroic for the Ahead of the Curve achievement in order to get it. And my gear, especially if I find a group that's going to be letting me be willing to join as enhancement and DPS, I'll then be able to join that group at a higher item level, unless I can actually get a shield. The problem is, let's take a look at how many in here actually drop something for the Resto Shaman in terms of a shield. Aha! Il'gynoth! He drops a shield. Obviously on, you know, if we were to do this on heroic, let me just double check. Is he the only one that drops a shield? Yep. He's the only one who drops a shield in this raid for Resto Shamans that has intellect on it, as well as strength. So, a 460 shield from Il'gynoth. I mean, that wouldn't be bad. Oof. Of course, doing that fight. Oh, man. You guys saw in the last video what that fight was like. I looked into what it's like on Mythic. Apparently, there is like a debuff or a dot that gets put on every member of the raid that needs to be dispelled, but it has to be dispelled at the correct time. Otherwise, it does a ton of raid-wide damage or something like that. It was very interesting, like how it, you know, in the video I saw that it was applied to every player, and it just kept growing bigger and smaller and bigger and smaller, and you had to wait until it was the smallest it could be before dispelling it for it to do the most minimal amount of damage. Alright, so let's see if, you know, tentacle tank and boss into them. Remember, you body is stacked in one place. Was going to do 1 and 2, stays up 3 and 4 into portals and 5 split as needed. Should be start with others, more the better inside. Okay, sounds good. 1 3 5 portal, 2 4 stay out. I see, they're putting them into groups. Hold on. Let me change my interface here. Groups. Okay. So this is what they're doing. They're putting people into groups saying, all right, groups 1, 3, and 5, you take the portal. Groups 2 and 4, stay out here. So this is something that often is the case in certain raid groups and such. Though it's funny is, okay, it did put it there. This is something I gotta figure out with my interface, because it shouldn't be showing. Hold on. There we go. Obviously, I need to work on my interface, as I said earlier, especially if I'm going to be healing, because having to move over here, I see people have it all laid out right here, so I'm going to have to work on that. So it's an ongoing, continuous learning process. This reminds me of the time that I was in a MOG run group in Mythic and Taurus. We were about to do Mythic Argus, and everybody lined up with this yak mount. Best 120,000 gold I've ever spent in this game, by the way. It was so worth it. Being able to repair anytime I want and change my transmogs anytime I want. Mwah! Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Ew. Ew. Nasty. Come on, man. Alright, so I am in group 2. So he's saying that I need to stay out of the portal. So we still have only one tank. We are still waiting for a couple more DPS and another tank to join us. So oh man. Well, doing the entire Antorus raid back then took me 3 hours, but that was for different circumstances. This is already over an hour. We're approaching an hour and a half. Place your bets. Place your bets on how long this is going to end up. Is it going to be an hour and a half? Or is it going to be a couple of hours? Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. ELVUI, I don't have the portrait. Then just open the friends list and go to raid. Alright, so I mean, we can't pull yet. We still have to wait, because there's... Oh, wait a minute. Hey, we just had a second tank join. A Tauren warrior. Set up a picnic table. Ugh. That must be someone who just joined, asking how this works. So. Huh. Okay. Really hope this is not going to be a situation where we're going to have to call it or something. Whew.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, he dropped a cauldron and I didn't even notice. Oh, well, I still have my flask going, so I'm fine. I have the stamina flask.
3, 2,
Interrupt.
gaze deep into shadow.
Interrupt. Creeping anguish. Synaptic shock.
Interrupt.
Synaptic shock.
Oh gosh, that grows very fast.
Interrupt.
Synaptic shock. Anguish. Synaptic shock.
Die, get to your body.
Not what you do.
Get some sandy back.
Stare into the void.
Huh.
Special
Mind
coming.
grasp.
Void beckons.
Corrupted mind.
Incoming.
Corrupted mind. Eternal torment. Corrupted mind. Tumultuous burst. Corrupted mind. Tumultuous burst.
We have to go around.
Four, 3, 2, 1.
Mind gate.
Interrupted mind.
I'm supposed to stay down here with this group. That's what they said. Or not.
Incoming.
Yeah, over here. Right?
Eternal torment. Synaptic shock. Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind.
Stop.
Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind.
This flesh.
Synaptic shock. Corrupted mind. Tumultuous burst.
Incoming.
Corrupted mind. Eternal torment. Synaptic shock. Corrupted mind.
Incoming.
Synaptic shock. Corrupted
Defensive.
mind. Eternal torment. Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind. Tumultuous burst. Shattered ego.
Betrayers, abandon your resistance. Let go of hope.
Defensive.
Corrupted mind. Corrupted
Special
mind.
class.
Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind. Corrupted. Corrupted mind.
The void beckons.
Tumultuous burst.
Within the sleeping city, you will slumber forevermore.
A snack distribution service. So it's not a cauldron. I see. Versatility by 10? You know what? I'm just gonna eat my own. Because this increases my critical strike by 70.
I have many lucky doos you like.
Ooh, man. You know what's one of the worst parts for these recording sessions I have? Is that, especially now that it's starting to get closer towards the summer, is that my room gets pretty hot, partly because of the electronic equipment that I'm using to record all this. Especially the PC. When I'm playing WoW, it generates quite a bit of heat. So... I wouldn't be surprised if I end up editing a lot of this video to cut it down.
3, 2, 1. Your minds remain closed. Come, mortals. Glimpse the infinite truths. 4, 3, 2,
Interact.
1.
Rack.
Stare into the void.
Interact. 2.
Freezing anguish. Synaptic shock. Synaptic shock.
Interact.
Synaptic shock. Freezing anguish.
Interact.
Synaptic shock.
Interact.
Rack.
4.
Synaptic shock.
Beware.
Alright, we're good.
Gaze deep into shadow.
I don't know what happened to that guy there. no idea what happened there.
Special
Mind
coming.
grasp.
Alright, everyone's heading over here.
I claim this flesh.
Watch your fish. Incoming.
Corrupted mind. Eternal torment. Corrupted mind. Tumultuous burst. Corrupted mind. Corrupted tumultuous burst. Corrupted.
Oh, man.
Tumultuous burst.
So much raid-wide damage. Everywhere.
Corrupted mind. Mind gate. Corrupted mind.
Walk the path to power.
Interrupt.
Corrupted mind.
I'm gonna go follow those players over there. They're not redirecting their minions to attack these
Incoming.
instead of N'alotha.
Mind. Eternal torment. Mind.
I claim
Corrupted
this
mind.
flesh.
Corrupted mind.
No, thank you.
Synaptic shock.
I would rather you didn't. Just kind of a preference thing. I'd rather you just leave my flesh alone and let me keep it. I'm rather attached to it.
Corrupted shock.
This flesh.
Incoming.
Corrupted mind. Eternal.
Maybe you didn't hear me the first time.
Corrupted mind. Synaptic shock.
Is he just making it where I cannot be able to
Corrupted mind.
Incoming.
heal myself? Because I am receiving very small heals.
Synaptic shock. Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind.
Stop. Interrupt.
Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind. Shattered ego.
Betrayers, abandon your
Oh.
resistance.
Yeesh. Why do we keep having people lose their sanity? Or do we?
Corrupted mind.
Special
Mind
coming.
grasp.
Ow.
I claim this flesh.
Oh gosh.
Corrupted mind. Corrupted.
Huh.
Eternal torment.
Oh.
Corrupted mind. Tumultuous burst.
Servants of N'alotha.
Tumultuous burst. Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind. Tumultuous burst.
Within the sleeping city, you will slumber forevermore.
Many deals for a friend of the Grummles. Like you.
It almost feels like a lot of people are just simply not paying attention to their sanity bar or looking at the sides of their screen and noticing the dark, like, tendrils that are starting to kind of consume their mind. Because the moment I saw that, I was like, oh, because, I mean, I do visions. I mean, I've upgraded my cloak. I've done plenty of visions in Assault to know what that means. Like, oh, my sanity's down. Gotta use the thing. Get my sanity back. But this is what I like about the way the LFR system works compared to what this would be like if we were either on normal or heroic with a bunch of pugs, is that when they leave, we're like, oh, now we have to try and get people to come here. We have to try and get someone go summon them, or oh, do we have a lock? Oh, let's get the closet up. Getting more people when people leave to come here on either normal or heroic is such a pain. Whereas in LFR, it's like, oh, we found someone, and then they toss them into the group and send them here. It's like, oh, okay. We do a ready check, and then someone leaves.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, man, that poor Demon Hunter player that just joined us. They join, and then all of a sudden, it's a pull.
4, 3, 2, 1. Gaze deep into the shadow.
Synaptic shock. Vanquish. Synaptic shock. Synaptic shock.
Man,
Synaptic shock.
I'm starting to feel the,
Interrupt rad.
the tiredness, the exhaustion, but at the same time, I'm like, no, I finally get here, and I want to actually beat this. And this is on LFR. This is the easiest difficulty. At least it's supposed to be. Alright.
Special
grasp.
Watch your fish.
Corrupted mind.
Alien
Corrupted
coming.
mind. Eternal torment. Corrupted mind. Tumultuous burst. Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind.
I claim this flesh.
Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Mind gate.
Walk the path to power.
I mean, if we still have the same setup as before, these two groups should be staying down here while the other three go up there. So I'm staying down here.
Corrupted mind.
Part of those groups. So, it looks like that tank that has been with us, I will say, this guy is basically the instance leader, and he's trying to really lead us through all this. And he's been with here since I got here. So kudos to him for not only not giving in, just giving up and leaving. He's sticking it out, and he's trying his hardest to try and help us pull this off. Oh, hello. Hello, my friend. How are you? So, oh gosh. Alright, you know what? I'm just gonna drop the big boy totem because I think we kind of need it.
Synaptic shock. Eternal torment.
Interrupt one.
mind.
I don't want to use my heart right now because that's not nearly enough to warrant using it.
Alien coming.
Corrupted mind. Eternal torment. Synaptic shock. Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind.
Stop.
Incoming. Shattered Ego. Eternal torment. Interrupt.
Alright, this is now when we can attack him, but of course now we have other people attacking us.
Interrupt. Interrupt. Special coming. Corrupted mind. Eternal torment. Corrupted mind.
I imagine on hard difficulties, you can't have a single person become a servant of Ny'alotha. Otherwise, it's just a wipe.
Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Mind gate.
Walk the path to power.
Interrupted mind. Corrupted mind. Incoming. Corrupted mind. Eternal torment. Tumultuous burst. Corrupted mind.
Go of hope.
Corrupted mind. Tumultuous burst. Synaptic shock. Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind.
See?
Corrupted mind.
That's what I knew I need to use it. Oh gosh! But I got hit by the tentacle and squished.
Breathing corrupted mind.
Incarnate.
Corrupted mind.
I claim this flesh.
Corrupted
4,
mind.
3,
Synaptic
2,
shock.
1.
Corrupted mind. Incoming. Corrupted mind. Eternal torment. Tumultuous burst. Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind.
Nope.
Anguish.
Corrupted mind is what got me.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Corrupted mind.
Man, corrupted mind is such a devastating dot. And I mean, you gotta do all of this stuff, both in this one and in the other portal, before you can even have a chance to actually attack a stunned Ny'alotha to actually bring his health.
Synaptic shock.
Oh man,
Eternal torment. Corrupted mind.
I am definitely like kind of falling into that group of agreeing that this is not a fun boss fight. There are some boss fights that when they are well designed, they can be really fun. Really fun boss fights. Illidan at the Black Temple, for example, that's a fun boss fight. Well designed, really fun. I participate in the time walking version of that fight. And I thought that was a really fun fight.
I have many, many wares.
I know people that say that when Ny'alotha was out in Tempest Keep in Burning Crusade, that was one of the better designed fights, and what made to this day considered one of their best ones. But this is not a fun boss fight. Yeah. The funny thing is, of course, this is one of the reasons why I don't like the cast times that takes for a resto shaman, is the fact that I then have to stand there and cast the heals for a few exceptions, such as Riptide, which is an instant cast. But compare that to, say, a resto druid. How many more of those are instant casts compared to that of the casts of a resto shaman? When you're having to avoid certain things falling on the ground, hitting you, and it causes you to stop your cast, that's not fun.
Your minds remain closed. Come, mortals. Is the infinite 4, 3, 2,
Interrupt.
stare into the void.
Synaptic shock. Creeping anguish. Synaptic shock. Synaptic shock. Synaptic shock. Creeping anguish.
Interrupting.
Synaptic shock.
Beware. You know not what you do.
Ha! You know not what you do. That's what you're going with, pal? Really? I just also find it hilarious how they are, like, letting their pets continue to attack N'alotha. Yep. I got the cast off.
I claim this flesh.
Incoming.
Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind.
I'm telling you, I hate how many of these.
Four, 3, 2, 1.
Mind gate.
Come, walk the path to power.
Incoming.
Synaptic shock. Torment. Synaptic shock.
Stuck.
Synaptic shock. Synaptic shock. Eternal torment.
Yikes.
Synaptic shock. Shadow Diva.
You know not what you do.
We have our chance to do some damage on him.
Interrupt. Interrupt.
Why are my heals not working on that? I was casting my heals and it did nothing.
Special grasp.
Watch your fish.
Corrupted mind. Eternal corrupted mind. Tumultuous burst. Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind.
My goodness.
Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind.
Four, three, two, one.
Mind gate.
Okay.
Interrupt
Corrupted
one.
mind. Corrupted mind. Corrupted mind.
Incoming.
Corrupted mind. Eternal torment. Corrupted mind. Synaptic shock. Corrupted mind.
Gosh, I gotta move.
Mind.
I can't properly cast.
Synaptic shock.
Where's my partner? If I had paranoia on me, I had no partner nearby.
Torment.
Just gonna drop that, have it hopefully heal, get the healing out.
Shattered ego.
You know not what you do.
Hello. We can attack Ny'alotha. 70%. Oh man. I hope there are other healers in range of those, because I can't reach them.
All paths
Phase 3.
converge within the perfection of the void.
He's still losing health. I think people are noticing that. They're like, wait a minute.
Ny'alotha is bridging dimensions to assault the Chamber of Heart. We have to defeat him before he corrupts the soul of Azeroth.
Harvest thought.
Oh gosh.
Incoming.
5, 4,
Eternal
3,
torment.
2, 1.
Stay away from
Stupefying
mines.
glare. Thought harvester.
We are trying to burst him down. Here we go. I think this might be it.
Harvest thoughts.
Try and get some sanity back. Here we go. Drop another totem.
We're charging the forge. He's getting weaker.
Evoke
Keep
anguish.
fighting.
You got it, Magni. Come on. Out of range. Oh gosh, we're losing sanity. No! No!
Watch your fish.
Evoke
Forge is
anguish.
nearly charged, champions.
Target
Hang in there.
His flesh.
Harvest thoughts.
5, 4, 3.
Watch your fish.
Yes!
Your word
Woo!
is mine.
Warning, corruption levels approaching 100%.
No! You got to keep fighting, champion.
Through your flesh, my Black Empire is reborn.
Don't listen to his lies. You to him! You're a child of Azeroth! Her strength is your strength!
Time to go Super Saiyan!
Attention.
Or Super Shaman in this case.
Well then, what are you waiting for?
Acknowledged. Firing sequence initiated.
Okay. I have a 2460 range, so I don't need this. I'll go ahead and say, hey, anybody want to roll for... Woo! We pulled it off. Some people already left, but some people were like, yeah! Yeah! GG, team. Oh, an 89. That's going to be hard to beat. Oh. $66. Nope. And can anyone roll a 90? Do I hear a 90? Do I see a 90? Alright. Elish wins. The other piece I got was, where is it? It was one of those things you collect as you go through the raid. An encrypted... Oh, I have 19 of these now. Oh. A new essence, replicating void droplets. Replicate the energy in your target's Heart of Azeroth, gaining access to rank 1 of the currently slotted major essence for the next 15 seconds. The formless void will go on cooldown 50% longer than the base cooldown. Each time an ally within 40 yards uses an Azerite essence, gain 482 intellect for 20 seconds, plus gives corruption resistance increased by 10. Whew. So, did it. So, look, trust me, I have heard and seen plenty of people talk about what you guys just saw. The whole ending, the corruption, and yes, I did the joke about Dragon Ball Z. I grew up watching Dragon Ball Z. Of course I'm gonna make the joke in comparison. Do you guys know how much of I have every season of Dragon Ball Z on DVD right over here in my closet. Everyone. The orange boxes, by the way. For those of you who know what that means.
Contamination levels known.
Corruption levels subsiding. Eradication of old god presence confirmed.
Departure acknowledged.
These stones have tales to tell.
It worked! You were the final anchor that let us turn the Forge's power against N'alotha. Thanks to that heart that you wear, Ny'alotha's threat is gone for good. Celebration will have to wait, though. The old god's forces hit the chamber hard, and we'd best get repairs underway. To think that would have happened if he had captured it. Or what would have happened if he captured it? You saved our world from certain doom. You are a true champion of Azeroth.
Remember your duty to Azeroth.
I think it's time to rechange my title back to one of my favorites. Savior of Azeroth. Yup. Okay. So what do you say we leave and go to the chamber? I know we were just in the chamber, but you guys know which one. the regular one.
Something has spooked one of the
Let
Brutusos.
me take a moment to switch back to enhancements. So the achievement we got was the Waking Dream, which was defeat the Carapace and Ny'alotha. So now let's see if it shows the ending and what happens afterwards when we turn in this quest. So you have now seen me beat every boss in this raid on LFR difficulty. I have participated in a few attempts at these bosses on Heroic, mainly the first few. I have yet to join a normal difficulty run of this. I would like to, though. I would like to be able to actually go through on normal. But if we jump straight to Heroic, that's fine.
I speak for Azeroth.
You did it! Ny'alotha's forces are scattered, and his grip on our world is fading. You truly are the champion of Azeroth.
Fight for our world. Since being wounded by the Mad Titan, Azeroth has been crying out in pain. In her hour of need, she lent you her power. Today, at long last, she's free from the grasp of the old gods. Her song rings clear and strong throughout this chamber. Hold her heart with pride. Know that you are more than a champion of your people. You are a champion of Azeroth!
Thanks, Magni. So we got another achievement. The Corruptor's End. Complete the Black Empire campaign storyline. You get 1,000 rep with Champions of Azeroth, the Old Doom Accord, and the Rajani. So that is it. Obviously, you can be able to continue to do things like upgrade your cloak, which I'd like to think that actually using this ability was actually helping me out during that fight on occasion. But it seemed like once we got to the point where we beat Psychus a third time, that was when we got to that phase where it was like, all right, now just burst him down. That was when that's when you're supposed to use, like in my case as a shaman, though of course we had mages and they knew when. Once we got to that phase, boom, that's when they popped their temporal displacement, or in my case, bloodlust. And that's when it's like, go, burst him down, quick, before we all lose our sanity, quick. So, whew. It's like once you get past that tedious first phase, then it's just like, quick, go, burst him down. Let's just say I don't think that's going to earn its place as one of the more popular, memorable, and excellent final bosses of an expansion that we've had in years past. Like, let's think about them for a second. And I'm not going to count Vanilla. That doesn't count. Because it's really hard to pick which of those. I mean, I guess you could say Kel'Thuzad, but that wouldn't necessarily work. I think Cthulhu would be a better case as the final boss of Vanilla than Kel'Thuzad would be, especially since we see him come back in Wrath. But anyways, BC, that's a weird one because in some ways it was supposed to be Illidan, but it had to be Kil'jaeden. The whole writing confusion and mistakes and such that happened behind the scenes for BC, that's a weird one. Wrath was, of course, the very first one that got it right. The Lich King. You know, fighting the Lich King on top of Icecrown Citadel at the Frozen Throne. An excellent boss fight. And, of course, one of the more memorable, iconic characters. You know, that whole thing at the end was phenomenal. The Madness of Deathwing and Cataclysm. Yeah, disappointment, for sure. Miss Pandaria. Garrosh. In some ways, yes, but I don't remember that many people talking that fondly about it, looking back on it. Warlords. That one was also a weird one, kind of like with Burning Crusade. Archimond. Moving on. Legion, I feel like they should have been switched, because really, Argus... I think Gul'dan and maybe even Kil'jaeden were more memorable final boss fights for raids in Legion than Argus was. The Argus fight is a weird one. And so now here in BFA, N'alotha, whichever you want to say. My goodness. Yeah. There are some elements about that whole encounter we just had that I did like. Like, the fact that when we start off, he basically grabs all of us and sends us into that alternate, like, I guess you could say that, was his, like, inside the mind or something like that, where we had to fight Psychis or whatever it was. Like, I liked that that's how it started off. He's, like, basically pulling us in because he's like, you know what, your minds are still too free. It's time for me to change that. Like, the visuals and, like, the audio, the lines, hearing Deathwing's voice, seeing the vision of the pillar and all that, like, that stuff was excellent. I have said it, and I will always continue to say it, because I expect it to continue in Shadowlands, is that the art design department and for the visuals and even the audio as well, they usually always do a top-notch job. They do a phenomenal job with what they're given. Like, they always do an amazing job. The visuals and the sound quality were just awesome. But from a actual boss fight and mechanic standpoint, I can very much understand and tend to agree with a lot of people who say that that's not a very well designed fight. It's boring, it's not that good. And because this is the final boss fight, that will tend to put a sour taste in some people's mouths, like it did with Cataclysm with Deathwing. So now let me address some of the stuff that I've been hearing about. This is the end of the expansion, and it's being depicted like this is the end for N'alotha. Like, we have actually killed N'alotha. I'm not so sure about that. I've heard some people say that they actually don't think that's the case, that whether they are actually hoping that's the case, or whether they have actually found something that makes them go, like, is he really dead, or was it a ploy? I've heard some people say that they want this whole entire expansion to be revealed that it was just a vision from N'alotha, and we wake up and it's like BFA hasn't started yet, or it's like just after the end of Legion or something. I think that's a little extreme. Now, if it had been revealed that the entire raid we just did was actually a vision, that would also be odd. But I rather like the idea that we destroyed this form of N'alotha and Ny'alotha, basically. And yes, I know some people have said that the whole thing in the cutscene of the eye going out and the tower falling down, it's a play on what happened at the end of The Return of the King in Lord of the Rings, when the ring fell into Mount Doom and Sauron, the Eye of Sauron, was destroyed in the tower, and Sauron, Mordor fell. I know, I've heard this. I don't mind. So Blizzard has had a history of doing this. They have always done these kinds of homages or references or copies of some of these things. Warcraft and StarCraft in their games have been based on other stuff like Warhammer. This is not a secret. They've admitted this. They have always done this. So why would I have a problem with them doing something that reminds us of one of the more iconic moments from one of the more iconic movies of all time? So it looks like the Eye of Sauron and the Tower of Mordor falling down. So what? I don't mind in the least. That's my take on that. Okay? I think but I've also heard a lot of people say they have a problem with this because they feel like this is a letdown of an ending for a character that has been built up like N'alotha. Now let me point out, N'alotha, this is not it's not like N'alotha was first brought to the forefront here in BFA. N'alotha has been getting talked about and teased for a long time. For a very long time. For goodness sakes, he was referenced in, back in Cataclysm. He was even referenced before that. Yes, they also referenced the other old gods, like Yogg-Saron, of course, was the big focus in Wrath when we got to Northrend and found out how much of the Saronite was there because of his blood, which was extending throughout all of Northrend, all the way from Ulduar, which was kind of a big, holy crap kind of realization. And of course, we had the stuff with the Sithis, or the Silithid in, Silithus with Cthulhu and all that, but they've, I'm okay either way with this, because, I don't know, maybe I'm just not really that much of a huge fan of N'alotha. I love his voice, and I love the whole aspect of that he is the one who pulls the, the wool over your eyes, that he's, I know Kil'jaeden's name was the Deceiver, but that N'alotha is the one who's doing things behind the scenes, behind the curtain, this deceiving the whole time, playing the shadow games and all that stuff. And I love the characters like that. I find them fascinating and interesting, and they also make things that happen interesting. That's why I liked Kil'jaeden's character more so than Archimonde's character, because Kil'jaeden's style was more so to do things behind the scenes and plots and schemes and things like that, like N'alotha. So I like that type of aspect of his character, but, I mean, I don't know, there's just something about, the old gods or N'alotha that I'm not hugely, behind them or a huge fan of them. I think, they're fine villains, but, do I like them as villains as much as others, like the Lich King or the Burning Legion? No. I much more rather prefer the Scourge and the Burning Legion as villains than the old gods, but that's just me. I understand some people absolutely love the all the stuff with the old gods, and they were really hoping and ready. I understand also that some people wanted an entire expansion dedicated to them, but when you think about it, this actually kind of was. I mean, even going back to the stuff we were dealing with, especially if you're Alliance, because of all the stuff going on in Kul Tiras, they were hinting at the stuff with the old gods in N'alotha, and Stormsong, when you first get to Stormsong in Kul Tiras. So it's not like they just sprung N'alotha on us when we got to, Ny'alotha. That wasn't, boom, now we finally, get hints about N'alotha. No, they were teasing that way beforehand. So in some ways, this expansion was, focused on N'alotha and his forces. It just really came to the forefront in this patch. But I think that's what some people have a problem with. They didn't want an entire, just one patch dedicated to, Ny'alotha and all that. They wanted an entire expansion for it. So yeah, this is basically the end of BFA and its storyline. So this is probably going to be the last part for this character and this playthrough for some time until Shadowlands comes around. Which, of course, I will be having my characters more. I'll be having my characters more prepped and ready to go for that than I did for this one. For this one, I basically had, one or two characters ready to go. By the time Shadowlands comes around, I'm going to have many more characters ready to go. Plus, I'll be able to level up the characters much faster than I did then. Or than I can now, I guess I should say. So, my main point is that I am not as disappointed by this whole ending sequence as others are. I've been enjoying this expansion and the positives that are here. There are things about it I do like, and that's just how I am. In every expansion, I can look at things that I did like. There are, of course, things that I can look at and see either that I didn't like or see that other people didn't like, but there are times I'll hear people say, talk about things that they didn't like that I just kind of, their reasoning or such, I'm just kind of like, huh? Or like, I'll look at and I will be like, but I liked that. It's a preference thing. There are things that that we can all usually look at and go, yeah, that wasn't well done. But my tendency is to look at the good things about each expansion instead of the bad things. People immediately gravitate towards the bad things and just focus on that. In my case, when I look at BFA, in summary, now that we have gone through basically all of it, this is the finale of BFA. We have beaten Ny'alotha and Ny'alotha and have saved Azeroth. Even though we get that cutscene with Magni, I want to turn to Magni and go, so what are we doing about this sword? Like, is it okay? Is Azeroth not dying anymore? Or are we just going to let this sword just stay here and be cool with it? Like, Magni, what's going to be done about this giant sword here in Silithus? Is it no longer a lethal, dangerous threat to Azeroth dying? Like, have we fixed that with the Heart of Azeroth, with destroying Ny'alotha? Like, there's no definitive answer on that. It's not being made very clear. They didn't even answer this at BlizzCon. This past year's BlizzCon when they announced Shadowlands. I don't recall hearing them give a definitive answer of, this is what's going on with the sword, or like, because you guys defeated Ny'alotha, that has helped save Azeroth from dying from the sword. Like, I never heard an answer from, in regards to any of that. So that's a frustrating aspect. But then again, if we're going to the Shadowlands, is it really going to be one of our biggest concerns? Possibly not. Especially now that Sylvanas has broken the sky, in the cinematic, which of course I'll probably be, don't be surprised if, now, because sadly I didn't get to show you guys the pre-launch event that happened for BFA, which was the burning of Teldrassil thing. But let's just say I'm going to be much more invested in this next one, because for those of you who probably didn't hear, the pre-launch event for Shadowlands is going to be, well, let's see, Sylvanas destroyed the Helm of the Lich King, which means there's no longer a Lich King to keep the Scourge in check. Which means the Scourge is free to run rampant and destroy all of Azeroth like a plague of locusts to their content without anyone or anything holding them back. And we have to deal with that. Thanks, Sylvanas. So you can expect I will be trying to show you guys the pre-launch event for Shadowlands. And I will more than likely also be showing you the cinematic. Obviously, the cinematic is now available in the game. It's available on YouTube, obviously. But let's just say I like to wait until they've added it in the game before I show it to you. And that they'll more than likely do that when the pre-patch for Shadowlands comes out. Whenever that is. They haven't said when that's going to be. Some people speculate it's going to be a few months from now. Which will hopefully give me plenty of time to do this on Heroic. My gosh, that I will hopefully be in a group that I feel like, first off, I'll be like, look, let me play DPS in this fight. I don't want to have to be one of the healers on Heroic, because that was rough enough to do on LFR healing. Trying to do that healing on on Heroic, I don't think my character is going to be ready for that. Even though I may have the gear for it, I don't know if I'm ready to handle that. I have healed a couple of Heroic fights earlier in this raid, but that Ny'alotha fight, whew, I'll be like, look, let me play DPS. And I'll hopefully be with a group that, they'll be like, look, so, all right, we've done it, we've done this before, we've been here before, we got this, and they just kind of let me, contribute how I can, So I guess, going back to what I was saying, when I think about the goods of this expansion, things that I liked, I enjoyed questing in both Zandalar and Kul Tiras. This is me also having, done a decent amount. By the time you see this, I will have also done a large amount of the stuff on the Alliance side on my Demon Hunter, and you can check out that playthrough as well, if you haven't. I enjoyed questing through all of Zandalar and all of Kultiris. I thought those were excellent zones. Really enjoyed them. There wasn't really one zone I didn't dislike. I mean, Tirisgard Sound was... it was okay. Drusvar was awesome. Stormsong was pretty good. In Zandalar, Nazmir, I really liked that. I really liked Vol'dun, and I really liked Zuldazar. Like, all three zones in Zandalar I really enjoyed. There are things about the system involving the Azerite power and the essences I do like in terms of enhancing your gameplay. Kind of like how it was with the artifact weapons and the abilities we could get from those. Obviously, the grind for AP is not good and not fun. You know, no one likes that, and I'm one of them. I don't like having to go out and grind for my Heart of Azeroth. My heart, you can see, is only halfway to level 80, and it's taken my character a long time to get there. And I hate that. But what I do like are the, like, different options and abilities we can get from our Azerite armors. You know, like this stuff right here. These choices based on what spec you want to play. These abilities that can actually add and enhance some of your abilities or give you passives that really help out. You know, I basically spec'd all three of my armor pieces here for Resto, anticipating I was going to have to heal in these fights or even in Mythic Dungeons. And I think that they've been able to add. And not just that, but the essences here as well. Am I saying it's flawless or perfect? No, absolutely not. But do I like that there are all these different things you can earn that actually add to your gameplay, that can be able to change things up and make, you know, more comfortable with your spec or playing your spec or have more fun with it? Yeah, I like the ideas behind this. It's all about the implementation and how well they actually, you know, make it for us. You know, that's the real crux of the problem here. Is how they implement it. Some of the ideas are sound, but the implementation and execution of it, that's where they got to really work on that and hopefully fix that by the time we get to Shadowlands. So, you know, like it was with the Azerite armor, you know, or with the artifact weapons in Legion, now they did try to, you know, help out with this to a degree by putting some of the stuff in here. Like they would actually put some stuff that we used to have on our artifact weapons in the talent tree. You know, it's not necessarily the case here for the enhancement shaman, but on others, like the fire mage gets the 3 charges of the phoenix from fellow Malorn. The blood death knight gets the artifact weapon ability from the maw. That's a talent that they can choose. So I'm hoping some of these, these abilities and such from our Azerite armor is going to stay to some degree, because it's going to, feel like we've had something else taken away from us when we have worked hard to get these things, and it's added to our gameplay and enhanced our gameplay, and then it just kind of goes away. That's something that they need to fix. I don't like it when they do that. I hated it when they did that to our artifact weapons in Legion. I'm not going to be happy about them taking that stuff away here in BFA. You know? They need to come up with something that allows us to be able to keep permanently using these. But that's just me. Obviously, I've made it clear how tired I got of the war campaign, the whole war between the Alliance and the Horde. I'm so sick and tired of Alliance versus Horde when we are having to face these common foes. I'm hoping this peace that they have established is going to be long-lasting, but when you keep having characters, first from an in-character perspective, when you keep having characters like Tyrande and Greymane wanting blood and vengeance, but when you also, and from an out-of-character perspective, have writers and developers who are like, we want Alliance versus Horde to continue to be a thing because we believe it's one of the core things that makes World of Warcraft what it is. That I have a big problem with. I know other people have a problem with. I know some people that have quit the game because of that. That they stopped playing because they were so sick and tired of the Alliance versus Horde thing when it no longer made sense. That it was just stupid that they were fighting each other and all that. That they've quit the game, and they have, they're hopeful that Shadowlands is going to be good, but they are also not liking the direction the story is going. I have my gripes with it as well. I don't like what they did to the Lich King in that cinematic. I don't like this continued focus on Sylvanas. I'm sick of Sylvanas. I want her to die by the end of Shadowlands. If she continues to survive and continue to be a character, and no, I do not want her to have redemption because she's not Kerrigan. That was a whole separate thing. Sylvanas has done this on her own the entire time. Kerrigan was turned into a separate entity known as the Queen of Blades, who was a completely separate being that was in control of her body up until the end of Wings of Liberty, when that being was destroyed and Kerrigan regained control of her mind and her body. Then she did some questionable things in Heart of the Swarm, but all the stuff that happened in Brood War was not her fault. There has been no mind control or any, being possessing her body thing for Sylvanas. This has been all her the entire time. So no, I don't agree with people who say that they're going to do this, that she is Kerrigan, or that they're going to do the same thing as Kerrigan, because that's a whole separate thing. That's a different thing. Ny'alotha was interesting. I liked some things, obviously, visually and the stuff, the presence of Ajara constantly throughout the zone, reminding me of what it was like going through Northrend when the Lich King was constantly showing up and talking to you. That was awesome. But the grind of leveling the faction you meet there and having to level them up in order to progress, that I hated. I am not fond of the assaults that they have done in this. I feel like they are way too grindy. I constantly feel like, ugh, when I have to go and do stuff to get visions for this to level my cloak. It always feels like a grind I never enjoy. I know some people enjoy it, but I don't. Uldir was a decent raid, but it's not one I'm eager to go through again. I really enjoyed Battle of the Zara lore. I really enjoyed that raid. I'm eager to try and join a group to be able to, that's going to do Mythic, because I want a shot at the Mythic Jaina mount. I'm hoping that my gear will be decent enough, and I'm willing to learn what I can when it comes to the Mythic mechanics and such. So, it's Crucible Storms. I mean, the first fight was not that great. The second fight, though, was very well designed and pretty fun to a degree anyway. Eternal Palace was a pretty fun and interesting raid. Ajara was a very interesting fight. And I have enjoyed Ny'alotha as well. The dungeons, some dungeons I like more so than others. I actually like Waycrest Manor. Atal'Tazar is pretty good, though there is that one fight where if you don't time destroying the totems, it can be very frustrating. King's Rest is an interesting dungeon. I don't think I ever showed that on camera. Freehold is, humorous and funny, with the whole pirate thing. Mechagon, ugh. A lot of people can't stand it because of the amount of trash and, stuff that's in there. Shrine of the Storm is pretty good, but it can also be very frustrating. Siege of Borealis is also, decent. Temple as well. Motherlode is another one. It's like Mecha. It's like, oh my gosh, because there's so much trash in there. It's, kind of annoying. Toldagar, pretty decent. And Underrot is also decent, but also kind of a pain because of the amount of crazy damage that's in there. So it's a mixed bag. There are things about it. I'd say the strong point of of BFA is, for me anyway, was questing through Zandalar and Kul Tiras. I enjoyed that immensely. It's when you got to some of the other things that the expansion started to go down in quality in some areas. Some things I liked, others not so much. And that's probably an excellent summary for the expansion, at least for in terms of whether or not I enjoyed it or not. Some things I liked, some things I didn't. So that's Battle for Azeroth, everyone. Basically, this character is pretty much going to be working on continuing to get better gear, to try and join a group to do Heroic N'alotha. That's going to be like my main thing. I don't care about Mythic because I don't care about that mount you get from Mythic N'alotha. I only care about Heroic because I want that Voidwing mount. That's going to be like the final goal for me for this expansion, is to get that mount. If I don't, I'll be disappointed, but oh well, it's not the end of the world. Thankfully, now that we beat N'alotha, right? I will be continuing to try and basically do this same thing that you guys just saw on my Demon Hunter on the Alliance side, as that playthrough is still in progress. I don't know when you will see this, but, you know, in comparison to how many parts will be up for that playthrough. But if you're curious how far along I am at the time of this recording, I have made some interesting executive decisions for the gameplay of that character and that playthrough, while having not really finished with some of the story. So it's in a weird place. You'll see what I mean when we get there. And of course, the unfortunate technical hiccup that happened in that one video, which was very unfortunate. But that character I will be continuing to do stuff on. So that's been Battle for Azeroth, and I'm hoping to be able to continue this and show you guys stuff when we head to the Shadowlands. I will see you guys then.